ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen, Christian Eigner, solo drummer and drummer for Depeche Mode. Chris, how are you?
All right. Thanks for talking to me.
Okay, Chris.
It's a pleasure.
Let's start talking about your beginnings in Austria. Tell me about your origins there. What music did you listen to at home, and what album or song brought you into
Okay.
music?
Well, I started drumming when I was 4 years old. Listen to I don't know whatever was on the radio back then. I don't know exactly. I just remember the first things I really listened to. I was interested in was AC/DC. That was one of the first things I listened to, and then a little bit later I got into listening to Billy Cobham,
Oh,
which
Mahavishnu
which was
Orchestra.
which was really really important, and the best thing to do for me back then, because I just got behind the kid and tried to play whatever Billy Cobham played. So usually you don't get to do that when you're 6 7 years old. He was definitely a huge influence
Okay,
back
okay.
then.
And later you moved to London. How was your arrival in England, and how was that first audition with the Depeche Mode?
What I remember is, well, first of all, before let's say that before I moved to
Yes.
London, I played with all the big guys in Austria, and I was already a session drummer, recording, playing on many albums, which was great because I learned so much, and I was really experienced by then already. And I think I was 25 when I decided to leave Austria, and I didn't know anyone in London, but was lucky. I met very good and interesting people very early on, and started playing in studios. I was working with a keyboard player. His name's Dave Clayton, and he was also recording. Um, he was in the studio with Depeche doing Ultra. The idea came up that they wanted to play with a drummer for the first time, and Dave just said, "Well, I know the right guy because he's able to play like a machine if he wants to." So, so obviously there was no audition. We just met up and played, to be honest. So it was like, sometimes in life you are definitely, sometimes things happen and you're like, well, this was meant to be. And
Yeah.
that was just a moment like that.
Okay.
And it was the same for all of us. So we played for the first time and immediately got on, and that never changed till today. So couldn't be better.
It evolved naturally.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's the
Okay.
most important thing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And well, Chris, you currently use a DW double bass drum kit, and you use paste cymbals. What other brands do you currently use?
Well, I use thick Firth drumsticks
Yeah.
and Remo drumhead. That's the things I use, and I mainly use microphones. That's an Austrian company. They're called Austrian Audio. Really, really good. Former AKG people work for. They started the company, and they do really good stuff. But yeah, main most important thing is DW and Paiste cymbals.
Okay.
That's the that's the most important thing. But the just to tell you something about my double bass drum setup, it's like, the kicks are tuned differently. So it's not like the usual metal thing when you have two kick drums tuned the same way. So one's the main kick drum, and I have a double pedal playing the main kick, and the other one on the left, that one is tuned up really high with no dampening, nothing in it. And I
Mhm.
usually send it through effects like distortion or compression or whatever. And so that is a different bass drum sound.
Okay.
If
Okay.
that wasn't the case, I would just use one kick drum.
Okay. Okay. Well, tell me a little bit about your solo work. I saw in social media that you were playing at the European Drum Show, and you were playing other shows, as I said, in a solo way. Tell me
Yes.
about that, please.
Well, that idea started. Well, I did a few solo shows like a long time ago, 20 years ago, just to try, and
Mhm.
then never really had time to do it because I was busy doing other things. And during the pandemic, I was like everyone, I was stuck in my studio, like I couldn't do anything. And I thought, well, you know what? with our band, I'll be one of the last people to get back on stage because we play big shows.
Yeah,
And everybody was talking about, well, we have to scale down, we have to play in front of nearly no people. And then I thought, wait a second, before playing, maybe playing something I don't really like that much in front of no people, I might as well play by myself in front of no people. So that was that's how I started. And to be honest, it was so much fun to do it that I continued. And it's constantly changing, getting better, in my opinion. I'm still working on the live set I play. I play with backing tracks from beginning to the end. So it is not a show for drummers. It's a show for people who I'd say wanna have like a 1 hour 20 minute musical journey that is different to what they usually hear. There's many different elements in it. It's like some of it is really old school, some of it is electronic. It's like you can listen, you can dance. I can play. That's the other plan I have. I don't want to just play clubs next year. I want to maybe try and do some festivals as well.
great, great.
Maybe do a different set list and go, just go for get everyone to dance. That's my job anyway, isn't it?
Okay, okay, yeah, for sure. Okay, well, I think that as you mentioned, that is the key regarding you because you always focus to be at the service of the song as a drummer and as a composer because you wrote several tracks for Depeche Mode, but as I said, when it comes to composing, you always focus on the song as the most important thing, don't
Well,
you?
that's right. Usually I end up like writing a song. Well, something. It happened to me many times. I was working on a song and this and that, and I was nearly done, and then I thought, oh, forgot about what the drums should do. So it's not what I'm thinking of first when I write a song, obviously. But different when I do arrangements and sort of like remixes for what I want to play for my solo shows, what I want to use there, because I obviously want to focus on interesting beats and mostly dynamics. It's all about that. Well, playing my instrument, it's all about the dynamics, isn't it? So it's you start, this is A, and then 10 minutes later here's B. The most interesting thing is how to get from A to B. And sometimes you can think about it and work on it and work it out. And other times I don't even work it out and I just know, okay, here's A and this is B. I need to get there. And I don't even know how I get there. And that's really, usually that's the best moments when you play live, when you don't know how you get there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and Chris, I really like that. I saw an Instagram video of you showing some drum skills, and then you said that, well, this is the most difficult one, and you played a solid straight beat.
All right.
And yeah, this is the most difficult one because you have to be just right. You have to be in the pocket. Which albums do you recommend to get into the right group?
Phew, that's so difficult to say because there's so many great things out there. That's really impossible to say. Which one should I can only say when I was a kid I listened to AC/DC a lot, and Phil Rudd exactly. Well, back then he
Yeah,
absolutely knew how to do that, kick, snare, hats. And it's not about, most people think it's all about kick and snare, and that's right up to a certain degree, but it's where you place the hats. And that's something people don't really think about too much. I spent so much time, especially in the studio, on replaying a take because I just wanted to play the hats in a different way, and that changes everything. The other thing is, I started playing to a click track when I was little. So that is the other important thing you need to do to get a good beat. For recording wise, my favorite recording drummer of all times is Jeff Porcaro.
Chef Porcaro. Yeah,
Jeff Porcaro, he was just insane what he did in the studio, and he knew how to play simple things, in the best possible way. And that's something you can't really, you can learn it up to a certain degree, but you gotta use your heart to get it there. The beauty about making music, you know,
yeah.
better play your heart out.
Yeah, and when you listen to him, it's just like a trademark. You listen to, I don't know, Rosanna or some Toto songs, and this is Chef for Caro.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many other things that we might not even know that it was him playing on it because he played so many things. So it's in my opinion, it's not about what you play; it's all about how you play it. That's the most important thing. Of course, you need good ideas as well. Always be creative and think about new options and. But most important thing is it needs to be real, it needs to be good, it needs to be keep it simple, but to keep it simple you have to be very good.
That's the key. Chris, well, in December, the film Depeche Mode, Memento Mori in Mexico City will arrive to cinemas, and the film captures the three sold-out concerts of Depeche Mode at the Foro Sol in Mexico
Mhm.
City. What do you remember about that concerts, and are there any plans for touring in 2026?
There's no Well, first of all, there's no plans right now. I don't know anything about the future at the moment,
Mhm.
regarding touring. Playing the shows in Mexico City it's always great to be there. It's amazing. It's just amazing. And the film is very good, but to really feel what is going on in a stadium like this. It's really hard to describe, and I guess it's really hard to capture as well, because it's something unique. Something's in the air. Besides, well, the only problem in Mexico City is usually when you get there and you play the first show the day after, you're struggling a bit because of altitude.
Yeah.
Especially when you come somewhere from the coast. That is always a bit of a challenge. I remember that, and it's just yeah, it's really special up there. Plus, I like motorsports, and you know playing near a racetrack is always something good.
Okay. Okay. Well, Chris, Chaoszine is a media outlet focused on heavy metal and rock music. And the truth is that Depeche Mode has been always a reference point to heavy metal bands. Even Lacuna Coil, the Italian band, did a famous version of Enjoy the Silence on the
Yeah.
album Karma Code. Have you listened to it? And regarding
No, no,
that, no?
no, I don't. I haven't heard it, but I wanna listen to it.
Okay, okay. Why do you think Depeche Mode has been a huge influence to heavy metal bands? What's your opinion?
What's my opinion on this? Well, I would say, the compositions, especially, all the songs that Martin wrote, you can translate the songs to anything you want, I think, because they're so good. So why not do a heavy version of this song or that song? So that works. And there's always, I mean, to be honest, when we play the songs, and especially some of the beats in big places like stadiums, you see how it works. It's a massive thing. It is, it's big music.
Yeah, yeah.
And we have one of the best possible singers. I mean, it was great. But I watched last week. I went to see Youngblood live, right, for the first time,
Yeah.
and I was pretty, to be honest, I was impressed how good his stage presence was. And I mean, the only thing I can say that is because I've been sitting behind one of the greatest frontmen of all times for a long, 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 long time now. So I know what a good frontman is. And yeah, this he just I thought about him, and some of his stuff is like it could be huge. I think
Yeah.
I played way more rock than most people think.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I thought, to be honest, I thought that I always thought that I'm going to end up in a huge rock band
Oh, great,
when,
great.
when I was a kid. That was always my thing. And it's like where's the difference? Where's the difference between a huge rock band and what we do live with Depeche Mode? Somebody tell me.
No difference. Okay. Okay. Chris, last two questions. Which advice would you give to young aspiring musicians? Because the industry has changed a lot since you started.
To be honest, don't listen to what, somebody in the industry tells you, first of all, because they don't know anything.
Yeah.
It's be true to yourself, think about what you want to do and just do it. Play as much as you want, play as much as you can, and go out there and play live. And this is also one of the reasons I'm so happy playing my solo shows at the moment, because that hasn't got anything to do with the music industry. I play small clubs, and I don't have anything on the radio, and I don't have to. It's like, it gives you more freedom than anything else. Most important thing is don't listen to people and play.
Be yourself, be genuine.
Exactly, exactly,
Okay.
absolutely,
Well, last
absolutely.
last one. How do you remember Andy Fletcher?
Well, we were friends for a long time, and we spent a lot of time together. And obviously, it's like I still think about him many times, and well, especially on the last tour. It was really hard when we started the last tour, to be honest, because you just he was just missed. When I think about him now, I always think about funny things that we experienced together, and there was many things.
The good times.
So
Okay.
good memories.
Chris Eigner, thanks a mil for joining. I really appreciate your time as a drummer and as a journalist. Thanks a mil. And well, have a
Pleasure.
nice evening over there and hope you
Thank
see
you.
you soon on tour.
Yeah, hopefully, and yeah, let's see. Maybe I'll be out playing more solo shows beginning of next year or something like that. So let's see.
Great.